Commissioners. What is your position on the spreading of manure? Oh, there's more. From the factory farms from out of county and the lack of control to regulate and enforce laws already on the books. Would you support local control of all manure that is spread from out of county? Like I say, I just read them. Who would like to be first? Who would like to be last?
Since you're looking at me, I guess I'll handle this one. I have a big problem with...
Can you hear Mark okay?
Yes.
I have a problem or an issue when it comes to out-of-county facilities putting manure out on complexes. I think a lot of it is that it boils down to simply, I don't live here, why should I care? I honestly believe that. I know working for the Soil and Water, we do get manure complaints from time to time, and if the technician is out, I'll go look at it. And we're supposed to go in pairs, and we usually do most of the time. I got to watch myself. I got a board member sitting here, so but we go out as a team and check into this, and that is very frustrating for a homeowner because it is kind of scary. What was the other part of your question, Joe? Something about regulation?
Let's see here. Farms from out in the county and the lack of control to regulate and enforce laws already on the books.
Okay. That is another tight thing to handle. Through the state of Ohio, they do have a manual guideline that you're supposed to follow. But a lot of times what happens is it's already been done, and then we get notified. So like I said, we're the ones going out taking a look at what just happened, and it is very frustrating when you see a lot of the manure flow sometimes laying there. But when it comes time to try to find out who did it, why, when, and how, a lot of times these people are already gone, and we're trying to backtrack, and we've actually had to send out some letters already via registered letter to get these guys to come in and talk to us, and that's been very hard for, we have lack of cooperation with that in. I hate the word regulation. That just goes against my rebellious thing, I think, because I don't like to be regulated on some things. It's kind of self-control. As far as regulation, we have a lot of good responsible farmers that do handle, and they do knife their product in the ground. I think the fear is, and there again, the communication portion I would like to see handled, if it could be.
I probably should have reminded Bob, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. I'm good.
All right.
My thoughts on it, we have enough rules now. If we can regulate once we have, I think we need to be reactive instead of proactive. Maybe solve things before it happens, rather than wait for the ditches to fill up with manure and stuff. Have some inspections, keep up on these people that's doing these things. The ones that are trucking manure in and out of the county are turning the roads up too. And that's very expensive. Like on a road real close to me, there's holes on it, you can stink your car in it. Just from out of town, out of country people bringing their manure here to spread or whatever. I'd like to see some regulations here of what comes in the county and how they use it properly, rather than just dump it on the field and forget about it, let the rain wash it off or whatever. As far as animals go, I like to eat too. I like pork and all that kind of things, but we need to regulate what we got going on, because I still think Paulding County is a good place to live. I don't want to have an issue of having to test my water a day before I drink it. We have good resources here. I don't want to keep it good. So that's my thought on it.
It's a very good question. As far as the regulations, or let's go with the people that are coming from out of county. I only have a few friends that farm, and I've never sat down and asked them specific questions as far as how they spread their manure, where they get it from. So I would have to educate myself on that stuff. I don't want to tell the farmers that they can't fertilize their fields. I also don't want to be drinking manure water. So I think you have to find that happy medium between the two. to figure out exactly what regulations you can put in place. As long as I'm not drinking the manure water and the farmers are allowed to fertilize their crops, I think we should all be happy with that. But it's finding that happy medium that we need in order to
Hey,
make that.
Doc, I'm not sure, I'm not ignorant to that effect.
I'll give you the
Well, another
No.
time maybe, okay. Thank you.
sewage that's coming from sitting and having had a chance to change. And that's contaminating it. And we have it being done in the winter when it's not supposed to be done and dumped. There are rules and they're not being followed. And this was brought up to previous people that were commissioners, and their answer is, the law says a farm's a farm. We don't want anything to do with it. And my question is just you people, are you interested in being politicians? Are you interested in being statesmen? And to me, a statesman is someone who takes care of the people, and a politician is someone that takes care of themselves.
Well, I'm not here for myself. I think it would be in the best interest of Paulding County to maybe look into hiring somebody who can look at those regulations and enforce them. I think that's one of the problems we have at this point, and there's nobody, whose sole responsibility is to enforce those regulations.
I'm not asking all of you three to know what all the rules and regulations are now. My question, are you willing to check and make sure that those regulations are applied to the content of the law if you get the position?
Absolutely. I don't have any issues with that at all.
Thank you.
Well, he kind of answered some of my answers that I was going to give earlier into it. My concern is that word regulation, but we already have things on the books. Let's use it. The other concern I have is, and I'm also president of the advisory council in the health department here, and that was one thing I had brought up earlier too in talk with different ones.
Nationally, we hear about terrorism and plans for that. I personally experienced some of the Draco storm disadvantage and was without electricity for over 6 days. And I just wonder what each of the commissioner candidates think about our county and how well prepared we are, or as a commissioner, what steps you might take along those lines. I feel like that's something that could involve every citizen of Paulding County.
Manual set up on it actually will list information on there of who to call, phone numbers, and things of this nature. I would also like to get a coalition of, let's say Lafarge. Let's get a representative from Lafarge. Let's get a representative from the Sheriff's Department. Let's get a representative from the courthouse. And, however it works, and let's get a plan. Let's get a plan on, okay, the Red Cross does this group does this church group does that. Let's get it all organized so we can go right down the list and get snapping really quick. My concern is, too, with bioterrorism. What's the plan? Do we have one? Another one is we get, let's say we have a spill. It has to be called. Okay, now what do we do if it happens here? Is there a plan? I remember with Randy Schaefer, he was wanting to put together stuff with townships on how to handle these issues. That's one issue I would love to work with the other commissioners on, is putting together and formulating a plan on having every scenario with a plan, whether it be step A through D or whatever it would take to get these resolved. Because my concern is we can get caught off guard. What would happen if our Paulding Reservoir out here got polluted for some bioterrorism act? I don't think there's anything in place. I really don't. I could be wrong, but I would love to get some of this organized and go from there. Did that suffice?
As a commissioner, we have oversight of the EMA office. The EMA Director is in charge of putting together those plans. So what you would need to do, what I would need to do as a commissioner is to get with the EMA Director and overlook what plans he has in place and seeing if there's anything that could be added or changed to make sure that everything's been addressed. Is that enough, or is there more that you need to do now?
No, that's whatever your thoughts are.
Okay.
We have a new EMA Director recently, in the last few months. I know him personally, and I think he does a good job. It's gonna take some time for him to get things, all his ducks in a row. I'm sure he has, I'm not sure, I'm gonna guess he has plans for these type of situations. He's been involved with the fire departments forever. He knows what could happen. I think he's gonna have some scenarios or some kind of plan to act if something like that happens. And that is part of the commissioner's job, to oversee things like that, to make sure that he's doing his job properly and things along that line. So I think give our EMA director some time, and he may have some answers for you, for as far as plans go. Raise your kids here in Baldwin County, if we have jobs for that.
What was the question again? As a commissioner, with what you're responsible for, I would say that the county budget is probably the area that needs the most amount of work. And once you get that fixed, then you can also work on the environment for jobs, because that's what Paulding County needs. Paulding County needs more jobs, but you can't do that without finding out why they're not coming here in the first place. Once you find out why they're not coming here, then you can take the steps to correct it so that they do want to come here.
They're both hitting it on what I'm thinking. Economic growth, creating jobs. Taking care of our environment will keep people here. Also, I have another moral issue, is the way our character of our county runs. I gave this speech the other day to somebody, and they kind of thought it was neat. You can have this beautiful fence surrounding your border of your county, but what's inside? What is inside that needs taken care of? Our drug issues that we're taking care of, and Sheriff Landers has been wonderful at tackling that issue, people in place to tackle it. But also we need to get churches involved. We need to get our morality and our morals in line so we can create better citizens in order to live within that beautiful painted fence. Those are issues, all of them. Also, our infrastructure, and I will now mention Melrose. Communities like Melrose, Oakwood.
That'd be good.
It is good. They struggle because there's no monies there. I would like to do a lot of things.
Proceed on with it. What would you like to do or change in the county that is not being done? What would you like to change in the county that is not being done?
I'm going to tackle this one from a different viewpoint. It's very hard to be a township trustee or even a county commissioner. I understand that. The budget's been mentioned. I would like to take another look at some things where other agencies are struggling or maybe not have any funding at all, and some are maybe padded a little bit. Maybe take another realistic look at it and see if we can't help more agencies, because I still keep thinking the more agencies you get involved that can support themselves, there are other opportunities out there to improve the people that live within these communities.
I'd like to work with the offices we have now, try to tweak what they need to tweak, whether it be a benefit package or whatever, insurance-wise, whatever. I know there's several departments that can't get, or they're gonna have a real tough time replacing their people that retire or whatever, because they can't attract a good person because they can't get any benefits to go along with the wages. We can't expect a person to work for $4 or $5 an hour and get good quality help. I think we need to improve in that area some.
I would like to look into hiring a grant writer for the county. I know the county does not have one that is specifically set for that. I know that all the offices, the library, the sheriff's office, the senior center, all those offices could use grant money. And I think if we have one person that's dedicated to that, that would save the county enormous amounts of money.